Coming up in this edition of Backroads, we meet a painter and poet and her cowboy subjects.
None of them are rhinestone. They're all real, honest to goodness people.
The competition is going on.
We strap on the gaffs and race up power poles, with safety first. We spend a fragrant August afternoon along Prickly Pear Creek and learn some moves that help you stay young.
It keeps your mind active.
All that from the biggest volunteer auction in the nation. This edition of Backroads is going once.
Or twice here, and about $5,000 on the back roads. $5,000 now, $7,500 now, $10,000 on the back roads of Montana there, and $1,250 there, $12,500 on the back roads there, and $17,000.
Backroads of Montana is made possible with production support from the Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans. The Montana Office of Tourism at visitmt.com, and the University of Montana.
Home is where Montana is my home. From mountain peaks to prairie lands, the places I have known. And I'm bound to ramble, yes, I'm bound to roam. And when I'm in off the road now, boys, Montana is my home.
Hello, welcome to the 40th edition of Backroads of Montana. We've been down a lot of roads since 1991, looking for special people, interesting places, and the unique community events that you'll find only in Montana. Today we're in Creston, just east of Kalispell, for the annual Creston Auction and County Fair. The auction's been around for decades and benefits the Creston Fire Department. We'll see what kind of deals we can find between our stories. Maybe a nice piece of furniture, a pail full of fishing rods, or maybe a nice piece of art. Locally inspired art is at the center of our first story. Iris Dodge is a painter, a poet, and something of a preservationist. Her book, Plaid, Stripes, and Denim, celebrates 52 rugged Montanans who used to cowboy the old-fashioned way. We sat down at the easel with Iris to learn a little bit more about the lives behind some of these faces.
It's been an incredible journey. I can't believe it's actually here.
It's a big night for Iris Dodge. Iris, her art, and an accompanying book are center stage. Here at the Western Heritage Center in Billings, faces, cowboy faces, hang on every wall.
That don't sound good. He's hanging downstairs.
7 years ago, Iris decided to honor, through illustration, a group of Montanans whose skills literally kept the ranch running. She knew that choosing just who to paint would be tough, so she took nominations from other working hands, making these guys a cowboy's cowboy.
Yeah, it's an honor to be part of this.
Certainly an honor to be part of any company that includes legend Ben Steele.
Pretty handsome.
Thank you.
Ben credits his boyhood on a Montana ranch with helping him survive the Bataan Death March, then another 3.5 years as a slave laborer and POW.
In order to be happy, you have to have a good attitude. And you got to cultivate it.
Everybody knows lawman Johnny France. In 1984, he captured the notorious mountain men who earlier had kidnapped biathlete Kerry Swenson. But few people know that Johnny had to learn to walk and talk all over again when a horse reared, coming down on his head.
I'm not as good as I was, but I'm sure a lot better than what they predicted.
Come on, folks, this is a barn dance, remember that?
Jim Anderson isn't quite as famous, unless you're in the Ruby Valley, where his band is the best thing about Saturday night.
Hey, good dancing out there.
Jim's barn is over 130 years old, proof of his family's deep roots in the Alder area. Iris captured Jim thinking about the ranch and all that comes with it.
It doesn't take long to live a lifetime, and we need to take more time just to slow down and enjoy our lives and our friends and our family.
They are known as the Ruby Valley Boys. They play all over the state. Makes you want to tap your foot and never want to be late.
Years ago, Iris discovered that if you gave people something to read, they would linger longer on the art. Every portrait in plaid, stripes, and denims comes with a poem.
He retired as a teacher of high school. His students still sing his praise.
Iris's poem for John Funk applauds his 35 years of teaching, on top of ranching.
How you doing there, buddy?
With a nod to his dog Patches, who follows John everywhere, especially when it's time to check on the herd.
He's a cow dog at heart. Him and I, we can put a bunch of cows in the corral by ourselves. He's worth about 3 men on the ground.
Most mornings you'll find Butch Waddell at Val's Cafe in Wilsall.
Will Sal.
Pardon?
Will Sal.
So it's Will Sal?
Will Sal.
Watch this baby boy.
At Val's, Butch will be shaking the dice for coffee and breakfast.
3 4s.
With a few of his friends who never call him by his real name.
When I was just a little kid, my mother would stick her head out the door and holler, Richard! And not anybody would change their name from that. So I decided that I wanted to be Butch, and that's what stuck with me my whole life.
They've been a part of my life all these years. And practically every painting was like I closed the cover of a very, very good book.
Wayne Goffner made the cover of that book, in part because of his hat, which used to be a John B. Stetson. Like Wayne, it's seen hard work.
I set this post this spring.
Wayne's been wearing this hat for more than 55 years, almost as long as he's been fixing fence.
Never-ending job of fencing. You get surprises every so often. The fence has been all tore down, and you got to go gather everything back up and put it back and fix the fence.
It's only a few miles from Wayne's fence line to Bud Boleyn's spread. Bud, together with his wife Lorraine, started their ranching business on the day they were married.
One of our wedding presents was a cow from his folks, so we knew we had milk.
Yeah.
And we could make butter.
That was the first cow we went into the cow business.
Yes,
so,
right.
So.
Yes.
That was in 1941. Bud and Lorraine and the ranch have been together for nearly 75 years. They credit their success to communication, cooperation,
and never go to bed with anger on your mind. Always go to bed pleasant.
It's in their faces, and Iris captured it. The humor.
My profile. Thanks a lot.
And the hope.
Our passion is, I think, with the band, is to bring friends and family together.
And a little bit of the hurt.
Well, I've seen this country burn up in June.
Spend an afternoon with any of these men, and it's obvious. They really do walk the walk.
You could tell the miles they'd walked, and some of them are walking bow-legged, and some of them are kind of broke down at the hips, but they're all cowboy.
Maybe the book's introductory poem says it best.
I traveled back and forth across the state just looking for that cowboy. They're plaid, stripes, and denims, and they all look so unique, but you can't tell that cowboy till you look down at his feet.
The entire collection of Iris's portraits is on display at the Madison Valley Medical Center in Ennis. Iris promises that the collection will never leave Montana. For information on future locations, visit her website at irisdodge.com.
Oh, say does that star-spangled...
The Creston Auction is a spring celebration in the North Flathead. It started off in 1965 with a few donated items that an auctioneer sold off in a few hours. From the beginning, the proceeds have gone to support the Creston Fire Department. They manage the sale using the principles of the Incident Command System. They're ready to respond to any emergency, anywhere. Our next story features the tough and talented crews who respond when the power goes out. We attended the annual Montana Lineman's Rodeo, which has been around since 1993. We got a glimpse of the fun, the fellowship, and the friendly competition.
This is the Montana Lineman's Rodeo 2014.
lineman is a person who basically constructs and maintains the power grid in a respective area. It is dangerous work.
Have fun.
All right, buddy. The rodeo is skill demonstration for the public, and it's kind of a competition among linemen. We all like to compete, but it's basically designed to show the public what we actually do every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are knee-deep into the competition here today.
You know, we have to go everywhere, and we have to be able to climb.
Well, the object of that is just to go up and down the pole as fast as you can in a nice, smooth manner. Have you have that bucket with the egg, and you got to put that in your mouth and climb up there without breaking it. And then once you get up top, you throw the bucket down, you put the egg in your mouth, because every time you take a step, you could all accidentally, you know, close your mouth or whatever and break that egg. So you got to kind of just go easy so you don't get a mouthful of egg. So.
Get set, go.
Hey Bob, we got a man down, call 911.
The point of the hurt man is if someone was up on a pole and got electrocuted, the goal is to get that person to the ground as quickly as possible to begin rescue efforts, CPR, first aid. One person goes up the pole to basically rescue the person, and then the other two persons on the ground help get that person to the ground.
Linemen really are a big family.
Let's see, a son-in-law, my son, my brother-in-law, and his two sons. I got to work in Yellowstone Park and built a new power line through there. That was in 1958, 59.
The tobacco rodeo.
What we've got going on right now is Save the Cat. We have our Highline event that is a jump ladder.
You know, we have the tree trimmers been coming too, and they're wild and crazy. They're fun to watch.
Here goes nothing.
Go, Roger, go!
We respond to storms, and our daily activities are trimming trees away from the power lines. The 5-pole event, which is an endurance event. So you would start with the center pole, tie in, come down, and swing out to an outer pole. There it is! And then swing to its opposing brother on the other side. And repeat that process. And time stops when you hit the ground. It's fun. Yeah, and anything can happen.
It's absolutely wonderful. We get together with the family, all the old friends, new friends, their families. It's just absolutely wonderful.
So we'd like to thank everybody for coming and be a part of this Lineman's Rodeo here in Butte, Montana.
In addition to the fun and competition, safety is a key component at the Lineman's Rodeo. Through the events, students, apprentices, and journeyman linemen all get a chance to brush up on the latest safety techniques.
15, 15, got you for 10, now 15.
An auctioneer's technique is a crafty balance. Move the merchandise for a good price for the seller and the buyer. Over the years, the buyers have bid up the size of the Creston Auction to more than a dozen auctioneers on 4 or 5 stages. You'll also find a rummage sale, a craft sale, and a bake sale. And it's true, one man's junk is another woman's beautiful treasure.
And look what I found.
Very nice. Beautiful treasures have always been a destination on Backroads. We found 6 acres near Jefferson City, which may be the most colorful. We spent a warm summer afternoon walking along Prickly Pear Creek, looking at flowers, plants, and trees that make up the Tizer Botanical Gardens and Arboretum.
I've never seen another public garden that's like ours. We've incorporated a lot of the native surroundings. We didn't buy the property intentionally to be a public garden or a business at all. It was just for our own personal enjoyment, and we just started planting flowers.
One thing just led to another, and we started one flower bed at a time, and it just has grown and grown and grown.
And all of a sudden people started to drive by looking at the flowers and asking if they could come in, and Some days we'd be having dinner in our house and look out the window and there's people walking around our yards.
Moved out here as a place of healing. We were newlyweds at the time. Richard had just gone through a bout of cancer and we were looking for a place for him to get well and for us to begin a new life together. As time went on, we were encouraged to become an official botanic garden and arboretum because people were excited about what we were doing.
Every turn in the trail, they see something exciting. You're going to see a lot of trees and shrubs that are not green. They don't look like a typical tree. They're either weeping or they're bent out of shape. So there's a lot of cool plants like that out there. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of 425 or more different varieties of conifers from all over the world, growing in the ground in our growing collection, we call it. Deciduous shrubs and trees, I don't have an accurate number on that, but it's probably somewhere around another 1,000 to 1,500 different varieties. Most perennials only bloom for 1 to 3 weeks. So we have a couple of thousand different varieties of perennials. So there's something always blooming. Which is another question that's frequently asked. Well, when's the best time to come? My standard answer is if you want to see everything in bloom, you need to come here at least every 1 to 2 weeks.
We have several gardens out there.
We refer to them as theme gardens.
We have a wonderful vegetable garden and our herb garden, which we use a lot for ourselves. We have a large perennial garden. We have a wonderful meditation garden where we have Buddha, and we've been gifted with some lovely prayer flags from the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas. You can sit in the shade garden and be cool. Our children's garden is full of toys and upside down trees. If you're really, really lucky, you might see the fairies dancing in the garden. We have a secret garden. I'll tell you what, that's a really good place to take a glass of wine at the end of the day and hang out by the creek.
So many people said, oh, you live in Montana, you can't grow anything there. So I guess we had in our mind, we're going to prove them wrong.
We really would like this to become a very important educational facility for our community. We would really like to make sure that the kids in our community get outside and recognize what we have.
We just thoroughly enjoy it, and we like to see others enjoy it. I think we get a lot out of that. We see thousands of people coming through here and telling us how great of a day they had.
No end in sight. We only got big places to go.
The Tizer Gardens are open from May through September. An admission charge, a gift shop, and their nursery keep the gardens blooming each year. The proceeds from the Creston Auction provide important seed money for the Creston Fire Department. Over the years, more than $750,000 has been raised for safety equipment, public education programs, and payments on firefighting apparatus.
Creston's one of the largest fire districts in the state. And so they've got 3 or 4 different firehouses. They're able to put up the new buildings and so forth, the training facilities, all based on what they collect off of this auction.
It takes 200 plus people to put this on, and it's a whole community coming together for the benefit of themselves, really, because it's really the fire department that protects them. Just an awesome thing.
Our final story is about people coming together, literally, to dance. It's just a short trip from here in Creston to Kalispell. There we met a vibrant 84-year-old who loves to dance. She's been teaching dance classes in the Flathead Valley for more than 30 years, but she's also seen her students make some even greater connections.
9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock, we're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
I think Roz says it a lot. Dancing is supposed to be fun.
Rock around the clock tonight.
Queen of the Flathead dancers is Roz.
Girl, guy, clap.
2 to the front, rock step, turn her, triple step. Let her go through, pivot on it. Come down on that left foot. If I didn't dance, I'd be a couch potato. I'd be just sitting here watching TV. But that gets me out of the house and it gets me to exercise, and I really enjoy it. Pivot on your left foot. Pivot on your left foot.
No one ever called Roz Christofferson a couch potato. Moving her way through her 80s, Roz continues to teach with the same passion that got her started.
So you're not too far away from it.
She was born in Ohio and raised in Michigan, and started dancing at age 4.
My mom was a good dancer. She'd show me all the new dances that she learned.
Roz quickly discovered more moves. Her knowledge grew, and so did she.
I think I was 13 and I was 5'8". Because I was taller, I had to take the boys' part. It's great now because now I can do both of them. I do the man's part, I do the ladies' part when I'm teaching.
Before she taught, Roz and her first husband raised 5 children. They eventually moved to Kalispell in the late 70s. After taking a dance class at Flathead Valley Community College, Roz later took over as instructor in 1983.
Drop that hand.
She's been teaching ever since.
You got it.
Salsa, waltz, the jitterbug, and she's credited with being the first person to teach line dancing in the Flathead Valley in the 1980s.
I don't think I've ever had a line dance teacher that I learned so much from as Roz.
These days, Roz hasn't lost a step, moving from place to place, open to spreading her love of dancing.
All right.
She's taught just about everywhere in the valley.
I taught at JB's, I taught at the Outlaw, I taught at the Moose and Whitefish, the Remington and Whitefish, Eagles, Sons of Norway, plus the schools. 5, 6, 7, 8.
In a typical week, she'll be at the Senior Center teaching line dancing one night. Then another night she'll be at the community college leading the couples dancing.
I don't know what you're doing, but you're not moving around.
She estimates she's taught more than 10,000 students.
She breaks it down so that it's simple without dumbing it down so you feel too simple.
Go straight forward. Now back under. Turn.
She likes to make sure that the students have all of the basics down really well so they can feel comfortable to go out on a dance floor.
I just love it. And what is really good is when I see people that I've taught out dancing, it makes me, I'm so proud. It's just like one of my kids.
Which brings us to the other interesting thing about Roz's class.
I don't show that part, though.
Yes, Hal and Julene are a couple. They started dating in Roz's class, and a short time later, they were married, forever connected through dance and their teacher.
Roz is definitely a piece that, without Roz, I don't know if we'd have made it. That's true.
Right.
It's a fun, one-time chance event. Well, until you meet Bonnie and Neil.
I don't think that we would have been together if it hadn't been for Roz's line dance classes.
Neil wanted to spend more time with Bonnie, and dance class provided the way. Within a year, their next steps were right down the aisle.
Really fast. What happened here, you know?
You were just lucky.
Yes, exceedingly lucky, yes.
Once is chance, twice is coincidence. What would a third time make Roz?
Cupid. Cupid. Roz is Cupid.
Add Marcia and Tony to the list, and for the record, the total is now 15 marriages from class, according to Roz. These two met in salsa class, and their romance blossomed into a beautiful beach wedding in Puerto Rico. It did take Tony 8 weeks of dance classes to work up the nerve to ask Marcia out, which might offer a little insight into dancing and relationships and communication.
The biggest challenge is getting the man to lead. That is the biggest challenge, because the lady can't read his mind.
Lead.
Yeah. Yes, lead. You lead her, don't let her lead you. I was like, let me lead.
I had a hard time letting him lead.
To this day, you still have that issue.
I do, yeah.
Marcia and Tony are now part of an official trend. Roz would love to take credit for matchmaking, but she says it's probably just blind luck.
And clap. Because a lot of these people, when they first sign up, I have no idea what they look like. I just know how tall they are and how old they are. So then when I get somebody to go with them, sometimes they hit it off, sometimes they don't. Forward, back, back, forward touch twice.
Roz knows when it comes to dancing or relationships, there's more than one way. The couples are a fun byproduct of class, but ultimately it's more about the dance than the romance.
Right here was Roz's class. I can't think of a better basic moves class.
Watching them learn one move and then go on to another move and then go on to another move and seeing them get more self-confidence, that really feels good. Okay, you guys, take 5.
Roz hopes to keep teaching and dancing as long as she's able. As for the relationships, she'll leave that to others to take, one step at a time. Our dance card runs out here. We'd like to thank Gary Mayhew and the folks at the Creston Fire Department for all of their help. The Creston Auction and County Fair is held the first weekend in April, unless that coincides with Easter. We're always ready to read your letters about Backroads. Send them to the Backroads of Montana, the University of Montana, Missoula, Montana, 59812. Or visit us online at montanapbs.org, where you can watch previous episodes of our show. They're also available at your city-county library. As long as you keep watching, we'll keep covering the Backroads of Montana. I'm William Marcus. See you next time.
Backroads of Montana is made possible with production support from the Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans. The Montana Office of Tourism at visitmt.com. And the University of Montana.
Montana is my home. From mountain peaks to prairie lands, the places I have known. And I'm bound to ramble, yes, I'm bound to roam. And when I'm in off the road now, boys, Montana is my home. Coming in off the road now, boys, you know I'm heading